Good evening and welcome to this wonderful Wednesday evening. I am your host, Dave Prime. Over there is the Scatterbrain Witch, Captain Katie. This is technically Trek. And how are you doing today, my dear?
Well, as you can tell by my name change, I've been a bit of a scatterbrain today. And technology is playing up, and I wholeheartedly blame Mercury retrograde, which we are currently in the middle of. We are out of it on the 15th of December, but unfortunately, then we have to suffer the post-retrograde shadow, which will be ending, I think, is it the 2nd or the 4th of January, one or the other.
And then it's in retrograde all over again?
Oh, no, then I can't remember when the next retrograde is after that, but recently we've had a lot of planets in retrograde, and Mercury is always the worst. Technology goes extra wappy. It's probably why my camera has been performing acrobatics so much recently.
Well, it tits up just the 15 minutes we were backstage, so...
I know. So yeah, technology has been a bitch recently.
Yeah, so if you see Katie go upside down or kind of do a little flip or a zoom in, we'll blame Mercury.
Yeah, just wave your hands in the air with me. We'll do a little bat dance.
And one of the things I was able to do, I was telling you how prepared I am for this one. For once, I got everything done like hours before the show. I even got links down below for Dangerous Thoughts, because without Manu and Tyson, this show would not exist. So if you want to go a little deep into the rabbit hole with metaphysics, conspiracy theories, paranormal, conspiracy, like you name it, we've probably done an episode of it. Sundays at 6 o'clock Pacific, 9 Eastern, right here on YouTube, and you can check it at dangerousthoughts.show. But talking about show, there is a lot of references from previous episodes of Star Trek in this episode. We had, of course, Times Arrow. We've had the Inner Light. We had Carbon Creek mentioned by name. It was a pretty good show, and I think
Blink of an Eye.
Oh yes, Blink of an Eye. That's the big one. It's saying seconds go by, and on the Cerritos, while weeks go by down on the planet. So we don't want to just spoil everything right off the bat. So I am going to bring in. Well, let's say we got two Zachs. I don't know which Zach to bring up here. Saying, "Hey Tyson, how's it going?" We'll bring up both Zachs, and then whichever Zach's not talking, we'll kick him out, and we will. Oh, or he'll just kick himself out. So that works. How's it going, guys?
Going good. How you doing?
Got a dog bite over the weekend.
And I got a fish. What's your point? I'm kidding.
Hey, fish don't bite unless it's a piranha.
Well, I have to be careful doing anything with the camera here, but right up there next to the TV, you can see the little fish tank on the speaker
box. Is that a beta?
Yes. So logically, of course, I had to name him Max.
Can I ask you a question, Tyson? Just on that element. Are you a skilled torturer, or are you just trying to become one?
Please elaborate.
I know what she's talking about.
The Calipod, and now you have Le Poisson. So, the kind of like that, that's kind of like putting a lion in a cage with a field of gazelles galloping by. That's...
Well, if you're referring to the cat, the cat leaves the fish alone.
So far.
I'm disappointed in her.
And it's a closed tank, so it has a lid. There's no way for the cat to get to it.
Never underestimate the power of a cat.
Well, so far the cat has had little interest in the fish. The cat will sit there and stare at the fish like this, but it won't get up and try to bat at it or anything. And it's up high, but the cat doesn't.
Considering how feral she is, she's too domesticated.
The
Calipod! Hello, my darling! Eat the fish! Eat the fish!
Don't eat the fish. It's not good for you. It's a beta fish. They're yucky.
Eat the fish!
All right, there you go.
I shall call the fish sandwich.
I should call. Yeah. So Matt,
That fish is about ready to be a sandwich.
Yeah.
All
All hail data.
But yeah, saying this was a good episode, and actually, one of the first things I did make a note of was the star date. So between this episode and Second Contact, the series premiere, just a little over 2 years have actually passed in the Star Trek timeline.
even though it's season 5 and 5 years have passed for us.
Well, it's
not
exactly.
Actually, it hasn't been 5 years, but this is season 5, though, right?
Yeah, so it's the 5th season.
Yes.
Yeah, but yeah, say the nice thing about animation is they don't have to do it a full year. You don't see the actual actor's age. So the start date when the Cerritos showed up at the Fisher, everyone saying it's 59499.6. Second Contact was 57436. So just a little over 2 years.
Wow.
Yeah, there's a big gap between season 4 and 5. But what's that?
Am I a bad Trekkie for not being able to work out star dates?
Well, I think even though it's the start date, it goes 1,000 days before it goes to the next over there, but it's still a 365-day calendar.
Yeah, it's too much math for me. I'm sorry, but my intelligence does not stretch that far, and math is evil incarnate. Just thought I'd get that out there.
I always thought it was weird that they called it a star date. Like, everything, it's just a date. Why start? I mean, I'm on Earth. I don't say Earth date. Earth date, December 19th. No, it's just date. Star date, I guess, made it sound futuristic when they came up with it. I don't know.
Yeah.
That's always made sense to me.
True that.
The fact that they call it a star date, that does make sense. It's more universal, but I can see why some people would be confused by it. Don't you dare spray that cat.
I was daring her to jump up on me.
She loves you and she wants to be part of the show. Allow it.
All right.
Yes.
Yeah, forgive me in advance. This ain't a shameless plug for Octopus. You can get a gaming tablet if you're a rideshare driver. I'd say I should put my referral code down in the description next week in case there are rideshare drivers that watch this show. If so, great, awesome. Octopus, great way to add some extra money to your pocketbook. But
that's the name of my utility company for my gas and electric.
Octopus?
Yeah.
Right on. Yeah, but
could be the same company.
Every time I think of a cephalopod, the first thing that comes to mind is gas and power. I don't know.
Well, they are intelligent. I
just think of aliens.
Right, because the octopus very likely is an alien.
No, every time I think of an octopus, I always think of that really cute baby alien that Will Smith delivered in Men in Black.
Yeah.
That is probably one of the most adorable aliens I've ever seen in my entire life.
I think.
Oh yeah, it was.
Well, an octopus has 3 hearts. It has brains and all of its tentacles, as well as it doesn't mirror any kind of like it can change not only its skin color, but it's the skin texture. It can be smooth, or it can be jagged, or it can be like that. That's not something any Earth creature can do. It doesn't. No other Earth creature has so many hearts or brains, or it really is an alien, in my opinion.
And most humans don't have a brain, so.
And it can regrow limbs. If an arm gets chopped off, it can regrow another one. But starfish can do that too. But its nearest relative is the squid? Other cephalopods, but
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't even think the squid is it's a relative, I guess. Yeah.
well, they both
I-
have ink. They can both squirt ink and swim
Yeah.
away. So I mean, to some degree, I guess they're related.
I just think
What is
the
one-
octopus comes from space. The squid comes from here.
No, I think it's kind of like that they're both
Cuttlefish,
from
yeah.
space, but they're kind of like the Vulcans and the Romulans, you know, like distant cousins.
Mm-hmm.
And just like, forgive me though, saying I've been dealing with a nasty cough, so I'm hoping this tea will help it out a little.
So
Jeff
nobody
H-
makes me laugh.
Yeah,
Jeff
what
H
are we
points out
drinking here?
points
Yeah.
out cuttlefish, but I'm here to tell you,
Sometimes
cuttlefish
outside
do not care to be cuddled at all.
But like right off the bat with the episode, Mariner gets the first LOL of the line, saying when they had like a purple-hued Enterprise D jump through one of those rifts and then go back. And
Wonder if
just
the carpet matches
it
the hall.
matches the hull. Yeah,
Can we just backtrack a little bit?
sure.
I want to discuss the opening credits. Now, I only watched I've caught up on like the last 2 episodes because I wasn't here last week. Apologies for that. But I didn't watch the opening credits for the previous episode. I skipped them. But I actually left the opening credits on for the newest episode. And has something new been added since the start of the series?
Yeah. Every season, more ships have been added to the.
No.
I need to learn not to
since the
skip
last
it.
season. Since the start of this season, has something else been added? Because I swear that the thing in the background, it kind of looked like the space thingy before the caretaker takes Voyager in the background, or something like that, behind all the ships.
Mm.
No, it's like it kind of looks. It's like 2 bars of like cloudy stuff with like lightning in the middle, and I never noticed that in the opening credits before, even with all the new weirdness. So I was just wondering if that's something new that's been added because of something coming up, or if it's been there since the start of the series.
I don't know. Do you now? Is there going to be, Dave? Do you think? Is there any kind of arc that's going across? I mean, other than Boimler growing out his facial hair, which I knew it as soon as he had the 2 little stubbles. I'm like, okay, that's going to be an arc.
He's gonna go full beard.
He's going to go
It's gonna
full
be,
beard.
it's gonna be down to
shave.
here.
He needs to shave, people. He needs to shave. We need to start a petition.
But they did a reference.
No, he needs to grow it.
There was a reference at the beginning. This is the 3rd one of these fissures that we've closed this week. And remember, other episodes had the fissure too. So I'm wondering if there's something bigger going on that's going to be revealed towards the end of the series.
I'm still sticking by the Cerritos from the first episode, the 327 variant. Cerritos has something to do with it.
I think there's a twist that we're not seeing here. I think that there's something that should be blatantly obvious to us that nobody's seeing. I think that there is a connection, but I mean, for me personally, me, myself, and I, like none of my personalities can figure it out. We have worked together, we have had a conference, and we still can't work out the connection as to why these fissures are happening. But I don't know, it takes me back. I don't know why, but I keep going back to that episode of Next Gen where Worf keeps jumping through realities.
Yeah.
I keep going back to that every time. Like there's some form of fissure. It's like an alternate reality, and I just keep going back to that episode of Next Gen. I can't remember what it's called, but it's where Worf's jumping through
Parallels.
reality.
Parallels.
Yeah, makes sense. But yeah, I don't know. There's something blatantly obvious that we're missing because it's too obvious, and I think that's what's eluding viewers. I don't know. I'd have to completely binge watch everything that's come out so far to be able to. I don't understand that, so Philip will have to explain in a minute. But
Well, he's here now to explain it.
Oh, of course. Hello, Philip. Hi.
Hello. Hi.
Hello there, my darling.
I'm here. I think I know what you're talking about, the thing in the background, but I don't want to interrupt where you're going in the conversation. We can come back to that in a minute.
No, please tell me what do you think the thing in the
I
background
think because I know you're not an original series fan. It was from the motion picture. It's the alien encounter from the motion picture from 1971 for V'ger. Because it was that big cloud that sort of is this like big double wave, and there's lightning, and you see it start to appear in the background in the very last moment before it cuts away. I think that's what it is.
Oh, okay.
Then I shouldn't recognize it then.
You probably wouldn't.
Yeah, but it's been there since.
What about the Calamarain? I don't know. I mean, there was.
Dave's mentioned it before too.
Yeah,
I'll have to do an internet search of anomalies in because I'm sure it's a Voyager connection, and I don't know why it's rather a Voyager connection or it's an insurrection connection, and I don't know why.
Well, V'ger is the Voyager 6 probe, so there's your Voyager reference right there.
No, I mean a reference that I've seen in a series that I like and haven't blocked out of my mind. I'm sure it's not like a Voyager probe or anything like that, but like a Star Trek Voyager reference. Because I really do recognize it, like, really, really much. So I'm going to have to do an internet search on spatial anomalies in Star Trek.
Yeah, see, no, I'm just kind of looking at the opening credits right now, see if there's anything that
No, it doesn't look anything like that.
Oh, okay. It's the V'ger cloud.
It's right in the background behind that cylinder.
Yeah, the only thing behind the cetacean probe is
the one from Star Trek 4 with the ball that comes out of the bottom? The whale ship?
The cetacean
probe. Well, that's
probe.
there too, but that's not what Katie's referring to. But that's the whale ship, or the cetacean probe is there.
Yeah, because in the opening credits, you've got the ball cube, and then next to it, on the left-hand side, there's that big metal cylinder thing. It's behind that.
Yeah, that's the V'ger probe.
That's
almost
the
V'ger probe.
All right, I'm gonna look at the credits right now. You guys.
Oh my!
I'm not on about the probe. I'm not on about the cylinder. It's in space behind that, and it's it covers the full thing, and it's got like lightning in the middle of it.
Yeah, that's Voyager. That's another probe.
It's hidden in a cloud with lightning, and it's this warped kind of cloud that first appears, and that's whoops, I brought up the wrong one.
Because I don't understand if it's a TOS connection. I don't understand how I recognize it so well.
Well, if you ever seen the motion picture, that's what it's from. I mean, some other properties may have ripped the idea, but it originated from the motion picture.
I think that's the only Star Trek movie I haven't seen. I think I saw the first 5 minutes of the motion picture, and then I'm just like, oh fuck, no, it's Kirk.
The first 5 minutes is just music.
No, I mean the first 5 minutes of when it starts playing.
Yeah.
Um.
Well, in the first 5 minutes with the Klingons, that's the Voyager 6 probe, the cloud that surrounds it.
Backs up. Oh yeah, it starts to fill the whole background, right? Yes, that's the V'ger cloud.
No, I didn't see that in the motion picture.
Well, I'm on Paramount. It's going through the opening credits right now, but every time I try to fast forward, it goes past it. Every time I try to rewind, it goes past it. So I'm just having to sit here and wait for the whole freaking credit so I can pause it at that moment.
Yeah, doing it on my laptop, so it's easy to.
And then it fills the whole background. That's definitely the V'ger cloud. I'm pretty certain that's what it's.
Oh yeah. That's what it is. It's the V'ger cloud. I'm looking at it. It's that exact thing.
So is it from the motion picture then?
Well, we may be looking at two different things. There's obviously the crystalline entity that's there.
Yeah.
You've got the big space hand that is there. You've got the Borg cube. You've got the I can't think of the name of the aliens. We look for things to make us go.
Right, next to the cube, on the left-hand side, there's that big metal cylinder.
Uh-huh.
In space behind that.
That's the V'ger cloud. In space behind that.
And is that from the motion picture?
It's from Star Trek The Motion Picture, yes.
Then why do I recognize it then?
Then you must have seen Star Trek The Motion Picture and not remembered it.
No, I started watching the motion picture, but as soon as I saw Kirk's face, I turned it off.
Let's see, we're going to get... I see you sharing the screen, Philip, but I don't know if I'm going to get a copyright ding on it.
Oh, I took a screenshot with my camera, and then
I don't think we're looking at the same thing.
Yeah, that big purple and blue thing with the lightning.
That is not how it looked on my screen.
Yeah, that's how it's looking on everybody else's screen.
That's how it's looking on mine.
It sort of does slowly fade in, and the ships are moving around, and that's kind of the very last moment before it cuts away, is when you finally
watch those opening credits again. But either way, has that been added, or has it always been there throughout this season?
I think it got added a couple of episodes in. I don't remember seeing it at the beginning. I could be wrong.
It was there on the first one.
Was it? Okay.
Okay, well, obviously, my lack of sleep is really getting to me. I apologize for all of that to our viewers. I have a new name today, which is Scatterbrain. So, I'm certainly living up to it.
We also have the Tholians that have been added to this season.
Yeah.
The Tholians were added.
Yes, I blame it on Mercury retrograde. Thank you, Jeff. I love you.
Your little planet.
Yes, damn you, Mercury.
So in retrograde, is it going around behind the sun, or is it coming back and around in front of it?
No, a retrograde is when a planet appears to be spinning backwards.
Oh, I thought it meant that it's doing its rotation around the sun. So from where our view is here, and then it's going to continue around. That would appear
prograde and retrograde. Prograde is where everything in the universe kind of spins in the same direction. If something orbits in the opposite direction of the universal plane, then it's retrograde.
Oh, yeah. All right.
So basically, Mercury appears to be spinning backwards.
Right. If all the planets in the universe have if all the planets in our solar system have kind of a clockwise spin, Mercury has an anti-clockwise spin. It's kind of a retrograde. Right. But there's retrograde spin and retrograde orbit, which is different. Mercury is in a prograde orbit, but it spins retrograde compared to everything else.
Okay.
But yeah.
All right. That kind of makes sense.
We don't come out of retrograde until the 15th. Like I said, and then we're in the post-retrograde shadow until the beginning of January. So, Yay! Not
Jeff, I have to ask Jeff, have you seen 5? Star Trek The Motion Picture is my least favorite.
Yeah, say that's my least favorite. Say Insurrection and the Motion Picture kind of tie for second to last place.
No, they don't. No, they don't.
No. I'm sorry, but that is where I like, I stamp my foot with a firm fist on that one. I disagree profusely. Anything TOS related is absolutely shit compared to everything else. And Insurrection is only just below First Contact for me, and First Contact is my favorite.
If only Chris Pine was Kirk in the old TOS. He was a hell of a Kirk. He's a hell of a Kirk. He's better than William Shatner.
Yes, thank you. I love you.
I definitely like the original movies and I like the next gen movies, but 5 was just awful. It was just
5's terrible.
I mean, it's probably doubly bad. 1, it's one of the few times they didn't go with ILM, and so the special effects were crap. I mean, just crap. Yeah. But 2, William Shatner, and you might be a decent director, I don't know, but the story because he also wrote part of the story and everything else,
and directed it.
That's why.
I know he directed it, but didn't he also help write the story too?
Yeah, we did co-write.
Yeah.
It was like you've got this planet at the center of the galaxy. Now we know about the galactic barrier being around the galaxy, but apparently there's an intergalactic barrier at the center of the galaxy. So something Kirk just created for Star Trek V. And then on top of that, we know, and we knew back when this movie was made, that at the center of our galaxy is a supermassive black hole. In fact, it has a name. It's Sagittarius A star. Is the supermassive black hole at the center of the galaxy. But he just, oh no, there's no black hole here. There's just a planet, Shakari or whatever the.
But Tyson, Tyson, we're all the black hole. We're made of atoms.
Yes, but there is no planet there, and you couldn't reach the center of the galaxy because of that supermassive black hole. There's no barrier.
You mean,
you mean
I can't be a planet?
Planet being at the center of our galaxy, as there is a man in a hard hat with a little torch and a pickaxe at the center of every black hole.
Do you know where Earth is in the Milky Way galaxy? We're kind of at the edge of one of the spiral arms. Okay, so in TOS era, warp speed is slower than in the Next Generation era. It's a different warp. Warp speed is in the Next Generation. It's from 0 being an absolute stop to 10 being absolutely everywhere at the same time, at the same place. And everything in between is that warp factor. Not so in the TOS. You could go warp 11, 12, 13, and they had. So it's a slower warp speed. So you're telling me that the Enterprise A, with a slower warp speed, a ship from Earth, made it to the center of the galaxy, we're assuming in a matter of days, but Voyager couldn't make it to the other side of the galaxy for 75 years in a faster ship. How did they get to the center of the galaxy in a warp 8 ship?
Because William Shatner is thick as shit.
Right. I mean, and then Spock is a brother that we've never heard of and never heard of. I mean, oh my God, it's just on and on and on. It's awful.
Yeah, but the thing is, Spock's brother that we never heard of was actually solidified in canon in
Strange New Worlds.
Yeah, they fudged him in.
Yes, what you said.
Well, yeah. At least we got that.
That came
after.
Also
not. They also were what Shatner originally wanted to was way too grandiose. It was never what they didn't even have the effects capability to do what he wanted to do. It still wasn't even really completely his picture. Like it's huge chunks ended up being cut out, and they had to dumb things down. And there was supposed to be a fight with a rock monster, which is kind of part of the joke in what was the movie that was the Star Trek knockoff?
Galaxy Quest.
Galaxy Quest. That was kind of the in joke about the rock monster. But
this talking shit about Shatner, this could be a whole episode of on its own, I think.
Oh, yeah.
Well, let's focus on the episode.
Star Trek V: The Death of a Franchise.
The near death of a franchise, but yeah.
Near death of a franchise. Yeah.
I don't know. I think Nemesis rivals Star Trek V.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, it doesn't rival. Again, it doesn't rival Star Trek V. Is still the biggest piece of shit, but Nemesis was not a favorite of mine.
No, well, it basically was the death of a franchise until they had to bring it back. Then they had to reboot it in a different image. In my opinion.
Well, we got Picard.
In my opinion, the only thing that's spoiled. Now, I can't believe I'm saying this because I don't mind him, but the thing that spoiled, well, apart from Data dying, the thing that spoiled Nemesis for me was Tom Hardy. They should have got somebody else to play the Patrick Stewart clown, the Jean-Luc Picard clown. I'm sorry. I mean, don't get me wrong, the look was good, but his acting for me is what made the film like cringeworthy for me. Mm-hmm. I did not like his acting in that. That's the only, well, like I said, aside from Data dying, it was him that spoiled it for me, believe it or not. And now, and usually I love him as an actor, but he cannot play a young Jean-Luc. I'm sorry, but he can't. Yeah. He had the look.
It just didn't work out. I will say the boss move though was Data sacrificing himself for everybody. That had me in tears when I first saw that movie. I was like 11.
Yeah. I was about 15 when I first saw Nemesis, and I cried my heart out.
I mean, you can't. They killed off Data, but they they can't.
Honestly, I always said growing up that if I was straight, I'd marry Data. Honestly, I love him so much. He is adorable. Even without emotions, he is just so sweet.
And that moves us to the episode.
Yes.
Oh, yeah, Data's. Yeah.
Data's head. Yeah.
I took a bunch of notes.
Data's head.
You know, he died again and he survived.
Purple Data.
But yeah, see, I got a lot of. Oh, I just got a text from Travis.
I took a bunch of notes. There was something in particular I wanted to mention about this episode tonight, and I don't want to jump ahead too much though.
Well, see, that's what I was wanting. We've pretty much gone over the technically part of the episode, even though it's talking Star Trek, and it's saying T'Lyn is just like over her head. The same Freeman gives her a compliment, saying that she seems to be at home at the science station, and she's just like, my home was an outcropping of jagged rocks in the built-in flats. I'm just like, oh, T'Lyn, that's not what she meant.
I don't like T'Lyn. I try to, I really do, but I can't get along with her. Every time I hear her speak, she sounds arrogantly bored, more so than any other Vulcan I've known. And I just want to slap her and maybe grab her by the shoulders and shake her a little bit.
Well, but I will say, go ahead.
This episode kind of did that, I think, towards the end. Well, what were you going to say, Zach?
I was going to say, I mean, but I will give T'Lyn one thing, though. Like, out of all of the Vulcan characters, besides Tuvok, he's actually awesome. She actually does show some sort of compassion in her own way. She does.
True, and in this episode, she had some really juicy melons.
Mm-hmm. There was a lot of innuendos in this episode.
Oh, yeah. There was. There certainly was.
Quite a number.
Anything to do with juicy melons, I'm all for it, people.
I'm pretty sure they were juicy grapes because the melons were too big. But yes.
No such thing as too big, dear.
That's what she said. I'm just.
Yeah.
That is what she said.
That is what she said.
Nothing beats some big melons.
Literally. It was too big to fit. I am
It
so
could have been
sorry.
those big.
What lack of sleep does to me. Please, just carry on.
But that's the glory of the show, man. I mean, all of the innuendos.
Yeah, it's a lot more obscenities than Picard ever did. I think at least to say like.
I'm waiting to get to the doctor's comment.
Oh, that's what I was just gonna say. It's like I'm a doctor, not whatever the fuck this is.
I had to stop. I was laughing so hard I had to stop and back it up a few minutes because I lost it when she said that.
You disappoint me, Tyson.
What's wrong with Niles Crane? Anyway, he was my favorite brothers.
Yeah, but,
Anyway.
But when Freeman was ordering a away team to go down to the planet, Check's like, but it's taquito night.
What is taquito? I had to try to look that up, and I didn't know how to spell it.
It's similar to a rolled taco. It's similar to a rolled taco.
Is it? Okay.
Here's what I don't understand, though. Why would she have been bummed out about missing taquito night when she was only going to be beamed away, in theory, for a second, right? Just beam and then 1 second beam right back. She should have been there for taquito night. Like,
I thought maybe I missed something in the dialogue. I went and watched it again and tried to see if maybe she says somewhere that, oh, hey, I'll be back in time because I'm only going to be gone. So I was waiting for her to say something.
Right. Because if you're only gone for a second, you're not going to miss taquito night. What makes you think you're going to miss it?
Yeah.
And even though she was gone,
and that's what we call
time differential.
The time dilation.
Yeah.
Yeah. Did they know at this point when she said that about the time dilation?
Yeah.
Maybe when they said.
Yeah, I think so. I believe so. Yeah.
Did she?
No. I think that was after the fact. Trying to remember because I just watched.
I remember she was on the bridge at the beginning when she was upset about that.
Yeah. Because it wasn't until they're in they're about to be transported when they find out that it's 1 second's like a week.
And then brings it up. That's true.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
but I will say,
made a really good point. Maybe it was the time it took for the prep of the mission. Changing the look of them to aliens and research on the culture and things. So that could have been why.
That could be that, and it could just be foreshadowing.
True, rather that our Mariner just really wasn't listening about the time dilation because she was thinking about her stomach too much.
Well, you don't have to cry about it. Come on, it was just an observation.
Yeah, saying I'll talk about taquitos, and then Boimler and Rutherford had those crazy freaking macalados or whatever.
Yeah, I'm sorry, but is it my imagination or did that cocktail thing that they were drinking have prawns in it?
It had prawns.
Yes. And did you notice?
It had shrimp. It had shrimp.
Did you notice one stayed on his head the entire time until the very end?
Yeah,
well, because only a couple of
a lot of little things in the animation on that. Their reaction when they spilled that drink, if you go frame by frame, whoever did the cartooning and the animation, that was great. The moment they realized they spilled it, they went, their mouths just went, and I went, that's hilarious. I've got to back that up. And I wish I could have freeze framed that. But whoever drew that image of them just like, and the tongues coming, it was hilarious. I was just like, that's it was only a few frames, but.
I was laughing my ass off. That whole frame right there. It was hilarious.
Yeah, you see, I knew that there was something going to go wrong with the transporter system. As soon as they stepped into that transporter room and Boimler was there, I just knew that something was going to go tits up with it, and they were going to end up stuck on the planet for months. I just knew it. And I didn't know how it was going to happen, but I should have known it was the disgusting prawn drink.
It did look gross. I got to agree. I went, that's disgusting. How are they enjoying that? What is even in that?
I actually had to look it up, but there is a technical difference between shrimp and prawns. They're very similar, but there is a biological difference between the two. And I
guess they're both disgusting.
I do think those were shrimps and not prawns, just to be clear. But I have to go back and watch the episode again. But I think it was shrimp. Prawns are very similar.
Shrimp. I tried.
So does that mean that if they crossbred, they'd be pimps?
Yeah.
Yes. Yes. They're pimps.
A whole species of pimps. Yeah.
Wow.
I'm so sorry.
Wild.
I'm so sorry.
Boy.
I need to like mute myself for a moment and just.
So are these
step to
pimps
one
gonna
side.
are these pimps gonna employ the octopussies down there or what? I don't know.
You know, I think that we've got a good thing going here, Tyson. Shall we try and carry it on throughout the entire show?
We shall. We're dropping viewers as we speak.
Actually, we've just gained 2, so you know, keep it up, darling.
Yeah, take that, Tyson.
I'm sorry, I really need to get some sleep at some point. I really do, rather that or I finally need to be medicated, one or the other.
Why not both? It sounds like that would be more fun. Depends on the medication.
It'd be tramadol.
Yeah. But no, I wrote down that the cocktails were very gay and frilly.
The cocktails were very disgusting. I don't think I've ever seen a gay person drink something so disgusting in my life. So I wouldn't have said it was gay.
Do you not know what a mojito is? I mean, that's pretty disgusting.
I love a good mojito.
Remind me again what a mojito is.
I will say Sam likes mojitos, and he's pretty badass.
Essentially, it's
wrong show though, everybody.
Yeah, it's It's like a vodka that you just mush a lime in, and then you put other stuff in it. But it's been almost 7 months.
Is it really?
Yeah.
That actually sounds good, but I don't really want to drink anymore.
Wrong with them.
Well, I thought you said you did not like mojitos.
I don't like mojitos.
I'm gonna try a mojito now.
Anything with orange
just because of the lime. It's not even about the vodka; it's about the lime.
Yeah. But
love me some vodka.
But yeah, like the first Voyager reference in this episode. Oh yeah, Jeff said there's muddled mint in there as well.
I'm sold. I'm sold on it. Now that the lime and mint, I'm sold on it.
Yeah.
No.
But yeah, of course we kind of already touched base on it. The first episode references blink of an eye with the time dilated planet and all that.
Right.
I think in blink of an eye it was a much bigger time dilation though.
So wait a minute. That means that Voyager did Voyager. So this happens after Voyager got home, right? Stardate lines that up.
Oh yes, by several years.
By several years. Okay.
Yeah.
I just want to make sure that we're after the Voyager because she shouldn't know anything about Voyager until Voyager's come home and it's all made known. You know.
I thought all of Lower Decks was post Voyager coming home. Yeah.
That's what I thought, yeah. I sort of wrote down Reverse Interstellar for some reason. You're familiar with Interstellar. In Interstellar, they go down to the planet, and there's one guy left up in the ship. And they're only down there for a few hours, but the guy up in the ship was in it for 25 years.
Yeah, so it was a much bigger time dilation with Voyager in the Voyager episode Blink of an Eye. Because, the Doctor was only down there for about 30 seconds or something. And he ended up living for
2 years.
5. Yeah, was it 2 years?
Something like that.
Jeez.
So, it was a much bigger time dilation.
You're right.
And we won't get into the physics of how that's possible because it'll just give me a migraine.
Is it possible? Let's not get there.
Actually, yeah.
Yes.
But it'll just.
Neil deGrasse Tyson talked about it once.
I think Interstellar talks about it too. Just watching that movie.
Dilation.
Time dilation happens typically in immense gravitational pull. The closer you are to gravity, the more time slows down. It's that really is a thing. If you got really, really, really close to a black hole without actually entering its event horizon where you couldn't get out, it would, sorry. Hang on.
You kicked Katie's camera off, Tyson.
Well, it's there's
sorry,
a net starting in a few minutes, and that's the warning for it. But yeah, if you got really close to the event horizon without actually passing through, time would go very, very, very slow for you. It's also said, this is how I remember it, that people that live way up in the penthouses actually age quicker by a billionth of a second, over a lifetime, but they age faster than people living closer to the center of the earth, or closer to the ground level of Earth.
Interesting.
Oh, and our satellites, our GPS system, they have to take that time dilation into account. That time passes faster where the satellites are than where we are on Earth, and they have to adjust for that time dilation for GPS to be accurate. That's another interesting thing. You can look that up. I didn't just make that up. Go Google that.
Yeah, Tyson is correct.
GPS
Like I say,
satellites.
I've had to do a lot of research. I won't say why, but I've had to do a lot of research on time dilation over this last several months. And basically, Tyson is correct in everything that he said. And that's why it gives me a headache, because it's far too technical for me, and yet somehow I understand it. It's very weird.
Kind of fascinating stuff, all that stuff.
But they gave a different explanation, because obviously if it was a gravity-induced time dilation, they wouldn't be able to walk around, because gravity would be hundreds of times, if not thousands of times what it is on Earth. They'd be smushed into pancakes. So there had to be another reason for that time dilation. Same thing with the Voyager planet.
It's all to do with the gravitational field as well. It's not just the gravitational force, it's the gravitational field. It's a different kind of balance. It's a different kind of magnetic pull. There can be denser gravity, like a denser gravitational field, without it affecting gravity too much. Like I said, I've done a hell of a lot of research on this, and there's different kinds of like magnetic forces that can cause time dilations. It's very, very like I would need about 6 months to explain everything, or even try and get my own head around it, because that's how long it's taken me, and I still don't know if I'm correct on it, like 100% in the way I'm explaining it. So I actually need to go to the science center in my city and speak to a physicist.
Well, gravity is also considered a weak force. You have strong forces and weak forces. Gravity is a weak force, and you can take just a little bitty magnet and put a paperclip on your desk, and without touching the paperclip, you can get close to it. And if it gets close enough, that little bitty magnet will supersede the entire gravitational pull of the Earth and lift that paperclip right up to the magnet. That little bitty magnet has more of a force. So that the magnetic force is a strong force. Gravity is a weak force. It's really, I love physics. It's just one of my.
Well, yeah, with the time dilations, it has everything to do with the magnetic pull as well as the gravitational field. So, like, the magnetism of the gravitational field is what determines it all, or something to that effect. If there's any physicists watching, please DM me on Twitter, just to see if I am correct.
Or join the chat.
Yeah, please.
I've got a net starting in 10 minutes, so I've got to get prepared for that. I'll see you guys later.
Good night.
See you.
Good night, Tyson.
Good night, Tyson.
So hopefully Travis will pop in. He's just like, you need help to get this show back on track? It's like, you're more than welcome. Like, join in. Same, because we need more people to talk about this episode, because there's still a lot of. Speaking of the devil,
back on track.
Oh, you just lost your husband, darling.
Oh boy, I've been listening to this whole time dilation thing, and I had to jump on to explain a few little things.
Go right ahead, sir.
We're ready to be educated. Well, go back to Einstein's theory of relativity. When he wrote his paper and stuff and everything, it was all based on theory. It was only in 1919 when a couple of scientists was viewing a solar eclipse, and they were wanting to prove Einstein's theory, which shows the whole, time dilation. Basically, it actually proved Einstein's theory of relativity was correct. Everything inside of a gravitational field, light can bend, resulting in you see time dilation and stuff and everything. Now, I've been hearing you guys talk all about I know Katie said it gives her, headaches talking to, about time, because it can be when you start talking with theoretical physicists and, physicists about time dilation and, stuff. Yes, Tyson was right about, the almost like light travel. That's why they say we can't travel faster than light, because you actually be traveling so fast that the outside of, your the if you was in a spacecraft and you was going to speed of light and everything will remain constant for you, but everything outside will, it look like everything is slow and everything. But I'm not trying to say that I'm very technical and smart and everything. I don't want anybody to think that, I know everything and stuff and everything. But I just wanted to jump in and say, some of the stuff and everything. Now, Dave, swing back to the talk about the current episode and everything else when it comes to the whole time thing. There was the reason why there was a time differential in this episode for this planet is almost something that Voyager encountered in blink of the eye and stuff like that, is because I guess the core itself of the planet created a time dilation effect, which causes a subspace differential, and that's where you got that like 1 second passed on the Cerritos. 1 week went by, and what tripped me out the most was these imbeciles that were working, and I hate to say that, but these imbeciles that were working the working the transporter station acted idiotic with their yucky food or whatever you want to call it, drinks or something. And what did they do? They took off their clothes and then they licked the damn console. That's what tripped me most, was like they were licking the console and everything else, just going up and the whole.
It's not want not.
It was like, are you serious and stuff like that, And like I said, 1 second go by is a week for the away team, who they had a return beacon on. Who was it that was wearing the return beacon?
T'Lyn.
T'Lyn. Well, they was down there for almost close to a year.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and you seen these, fools trying to like, oh, let's like lick the, console and try to do everything and take our clothes off and everything else and stuff. And I was kind of just like, really, is this what the writers had come up with this whole thing? They, I know it's a animated show and all and everything else, but I was just kind of like, oh, at that point, like, really, is that what we're gonna?
I agree.
Planet, and then we gonna see this on the ship, and then the only thing that went by real quick was seeing both Boimler and Rutherford acting foolish when it comes to working just a simple transporter console, and they acted ridiculous and stuff. But yet, you know what, the away team actually experienced a whole lot more for themselves being stranded for the long time that they was on, because it gave them opportunity to work out some of their quirks that they needed to and stuff and everything. And think about this, T'Lyn, I guess because she's a Vulcan. Vulcans, I think, sometimes forget that humans are emotional. Vulcans suppress their emotions, and they don't get so, Vulcans don't get so single-minded in whether, because it was this whole thing to prove to the captain who want to be senior science officer and stuff and everything. And that right there raises the question with me with the whole senior science officer. They're junior officer. You would think a senior science officer would be somebody that would be in a lieutenant commander or lieutenant, not just a lieutenant gray. So that was just throwing me about, like, you're gonna have, like, somebody that's really young versus somebody who had more experience, as a senior science officer. And that's just like when Harry Kim came on Voyager, and I noticed that he was what was his title? Chief of operations. He was chief of operations. Now you think about that. Data was chief of operations on the Enterprise, and he had a lieutenant commander
Yeah.
rank. And a lieutenant commander rank, the chief. To me, if it was seeing if somebody who's chief of operations on the board of Starship, they would have a rank of lieutenant commander. Now I may be getting way into it, but I'm thinking that position oversees just beyond under the commander oversees, every other department, including security, because senior operations officer. But that's just my whole thing.
Yeah.
Well, you brought a good point there, Travis, with the security chief. Both Yar and Worf started as lieutenant junior grades as chief of security. But
And
Katie, you had your hand up for a minute ago.
Yeah, no, it just what Travis was saying about the headache of time dilation. Now, in Voyager, it was explained a hell of a lot better. Now, the gravitational field was different to the rest of space, but also there was the velocity, and they are the two factors in time dilation: the velocity that the planet was going in blink of an eye, but also the gravitational field as well. But none of that was mentioned in the Lower Decks episode.
No, it wasn't. No, it wasn't.
And they had to, in Voyager, they had to adjust the transporters to what's the word?
Variance.
No, they had to adjust the transporters to match the velocity and the gravitational field in order to get through without.
They have to account for the time differential as well.
Yeah, and that they had to adjust the transporters, that they had to do a hell of a lot, and that's why they sent the Doctor down, because some of that was done via his mobile emitter, I think. That the settings of his mobile emitter and his hollow matrix, but none of that was mentioned at all in this episode, which I find very strange.
It's Lower Decks, they always want to surprise us and all and everything else, Katie, you did get my message that I sent you on Twitter, right? So you can see.
I did, and I've just seen it. I've put a little love out on it. Yes, thank you.
That will help clarify a lot of stuff that you probably, the opening credits, how they have evolved from season 1 to season 5. That'll give you a more.
Yes. And thank you. I really do appreciate that, my love.
You're welcome, darling. It's 9:00 my time. I wish I could stay longer and stuff, but I have to go to bed and all everything. I just wanted to just jump on with you guys and stuff because it was tickling me to death, and I was like, oh boy, I gotta jump in this conversation real quick.
Well, let me just bring up one factoid that I noticed.
Oh yeah.
When they first beamed down, looked a lot like Vasquez Rocks in the background.
Yes.
The rock.
Yes, it looked like Vasquez Rock in California. I said the exact same thing when I saw that. I was like, wow, there's another little Easter egg right there.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't notice that.
But the planet that you beamed down to was called Delma 3, and you think about that, they detected a Federation signature and stuff like that. Of course, it was a pre-warp civilization and stuff and everything. Let's cut to the chase. A purple Data's hair.
Yeah.
Gotta love the purple D.
Oh, and it was Brent Spiner who.
That was a cameo I was not expecting.
Me either.
we all know about Harry Kim. We only got 3 episodes left before he shows up.
He can piss off. I'm sorry, but Data's made the whole season for me.
Amen.
Purple Data.
I don't know why, and I'm not saying I have any like special powers or anything, but as soon as this episode started and they showed the Purple Enterprise, they were talking about going through the thing in the portal. I don't know why my head went, are they going to meet Data? They're going to find Data's head, aren't they? I don't know why that flashed through my head, and I sort of brushed off thinking, no, probably not. Sure enough, when I found it, I was like, they did. They found Data's head.
They found Data's head.
They found Data's head. It's like that's the only thing they found was his head.
And it's not the first, and in this date, it's not the first time he's been beheaded from the rest of his body.
Well, yeah, you know, there are so many innuendos I could play with that.
Here's another Easter egg too. When she asked Data if he can gnaw on the knot to get them free, right? She's like, "Wow, you really are fully functional." That had me rolling. I'm like, okay.
I wrote that down.
I always come back to that episode, but that is probably one of the greatest episodes ever early in the season of Next Gen because it's just funny. Innuendos are funny.
I know the purple joke about the, but how, what's the name? How she casually just dropped, the carpet matches the hole. The way she just casually drop it nonchalant was like, I was drinking at the same time. I was like, just had to spit my drink out because I fell out laughing. I was like, I did not expect this of the episode. Yeah. She just nonchalantly just dropped that line. I was like, really?
What did she say?
If she wondered if the what's that, the carpet matches the hall.
Oh, I missed that.
We mentioned
at the very beginning.
Yeah, we mentioned that at the top of the show.
Beginning. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Like I said, lack of sleep, scatterbrain.
Yeah. You probably a little time dilation going on with you around your field.
Oh, honestly, I've had like 90 minutes sleep in the last like 4 or 5 days.
Man. Well, do yourself a favor and you get yourself some rest and stuff. And no, you guys.
I love to. The Sandman has abandoned me, dear. He abandoned me years ago. I've tried getting a female one, but they won't sell one.
My dear.
There are no Sandmen, only Sandmen.
Oh.
I've complained to the union.
Oh boy! Well, I gotta get going because I gotta get ready to head off to be. Thank you guys. Yes. All yes. Always stay true to yourselves. Peace and long life.
Hasta la pasta, my
Love you lot.
Y'all take care.
You too.
I'm sorry, I don't understand how people can't do it with both hands.
Oh.
I can't. Oh, wait, I did it.
It was a little funny in my left leg.
Yeah, I'm a little funny.
Yeah, it's a little funny on my right. Yeah.
Yeah,
I could split it, but it's like that.
Mine's a little bit like that.
But
that's the only part of me that's straight.
Yeah.
That's because Spock was your favorite, Katie.
Yeah, Spock and Data. I'm sorry, but Spock and Data have always been my favorites.
Spock is awesome, especially in Mission Impossible.
Mm. What? No, Leonard Nimoy was in Mission Impossible after Star Trek.
Yeah, Leonard. Yeah.
Oh, I don't know, because anything with Tom Cruise, I don't watch because he's a total knob.
Oh no, original
series.
Oh.
Yeah, it was a TV series back in the early 70s, late 60s, early 70s, before it got.
He did a lot. Like he was in Columbo. He did a lot of.
Oh, I forgot he was in Columbo.
I actually didn't find this out until When was it? It was only about 2 years, or was it earlier on this year? It was rather earlier on this year or last year. I actually found out that Leonard Nimoy directed, or did he produce, one of my favorite childhood movies. And it was Three Men and a Little Lady.
Say that again, you got a little garbled.
Do you know the movies, Three Men and a Baby and Three Men and a Little Lady?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Well, I can't remember which one it is, but Leonard Nimoy directed one of those. I think it was the second one. And I actually didn't realize that until I watched it again, like earlier on this year or last year, and I'm just like, oh my god, no wonder I love this movie so much.
The first one was, I thought he did both of them, and no, the first one was from Laverne and Shirley. I forget her name.
I don't know.
That's, no one's gonna know what I'm talking about. That's such an old show. Maybe Dave might, but
yeah, I do.
I can't think of her name now, but yeah, the one who was Shirley. I can't think of her name.
Yep.
But yeah, she directed that. I'm waiting till we can get to Snell. I've got to bring up something about that character.
Yeah, I was just gonna actually was gonna bring him up. I mean, he is one of the unsung heroes of the episode, I think.
Can I just mention real quick? When I first watched it, because I watched it a couple of times, as I'm watching it, I swore up and down I thought it was Patton Oswalt doing the voice of that character, and I went to go look it up because I was sure I was going to think, oh, that's got to be Patton Oswalt. That sounds exactly like Patton Oswalt. And no, it wasn't. It was a guy named Eric Baza, who's done a few voices, actually. Mm-hmm. But he is from Canada. He is from near Toronto, a little town called Scarborough. And he's quite a voice actor. He is basically Mel Blanc's replacement. He does all the new like Warner Brothers cartoons.
That's why I know his name.
The Bugs Bunny, all of that. He does all those voices. He's kind of the Mel Blanc replacement. So I did not know that. And I saw Eric Fawn and I was clicking.
That's why I know the name, because I love the Warner Brothers cartoons. I'm a big Bugs Bunny fan.
Well, yeah, so he is a Canadian, eh? But I was I was taken back because I thought, I'm watching it. The first time I watched it, I was swearing up and down. I thought it was Patton Oswalt doing the voice.
Just like Katie's favorite, Bill Shatner.
Yeah.
I had to throw that one out there.
Good job, I love you.
You know I had to do that. I had to throw that out there.
You do.
The devil himself.
Good job, I love you. It's hard being in the room sometimes.
But he made me laugh, that character in that episode. I don't know why. He was so obnoxious, and yet they just like.
Is it just me? Kind of, but the way that he was walking, the way that he crept.
Mm-hmm.
For me, it reminded me of when the Ferengis were first introduced in Next Gen.
Oh, yeah.
They were all creepy pirate type things, and the way they stalked around and crept, it was almost like they were trying to replicate that.
Oh, maybe because I didn't think about that. I guess they would just kind of want him to make this wormy little character, and they just.
But also, they did actually. It makes perfect sense that he's connected to Warner Brothers because there was like a little Warner Brothers kind of cartoony type thing going on when they were getting ready to beam out, and they said that he's on his way. When it showed him creeping, it was a very prancy, shadowy creep, like what you would see in a Warner Brothers cartoon. Because my mind went back to those cartoons of like Bugs Bunny and Elmer Fudd and Daffy Duck and all that.
Yeah.
Like when I saw that shadowy figure like creeping to hide behind a rock or a tree or something. And it makes perfect sense that the voice actor would have a connection to that. And that was a nice touch.
It was a comic relief, yeah. When she hit him with the broom and he went and he was running away, the way they animated him running with like the hands out front, and then he trips and falls. You see him just kind of zigzagging away in the background was very.
Yeah, that was very Warner Brothers.
That was almost kind of I laughed.
Yeah, so that's probably why I kind of my mind went back to those cartoons from my childhood. Just with the way he was running, the way he crept, and he was like just a shadow, and it makes perfect sense that the voice actor would have a connection to Warner Brothers. I don't know whether they did that intentionally or it was just a happy coinkydink, but
because he has done other episodes. He's done a couple of other characters from. I'll have to look it up again. I forget which ones, but when I looked up his name, he's apparently done about 2 or 3 other voices in
Lower Decks.
In Lower Decks,
he's done the con officer at a couple of the early episodes.
Okay.
The first 2 seasons,
the
like 4
people
episodes.
Supposed to be making another appearance.
The Cloacans.
Oh. Are they the bird people?
Yeah. Or are you talking about like Dr. Meekly Moo bird people or the other avians from?
No, the one with peanut hampering, the avians.
Yeah. I don't know.
I thought that I could have sworn I heard a rumor that they were going to be making another appearance.
Oh.
Whether that is just a rumor or it's just like what fans were wanting, I don't know. But apparently there was something to do with those. Supposed to make an appearance, but I don't know how true that is.
I haven't heard any.
In case it is some form of spoiler, because I don't like spoilers, as you know.
No, but I did a little digging in. Like Leonard Nimoy directed the first 3 Men and a Baby.
Oh.
3 Men and a Little Lady was directed by somebody else.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. It's not.
Yeah, I didn't find that out until like the last couple of years. So I was like really, really happy about that because I just saw his name come up in the credits, and I'd never really looked at the credits before, and I'm just like, did I just read right, or am I seeing things? So I actually like rewound it, and I'm like, holy shit, Leonard Nimoy.
Oh, the ghost bee.
Oh, the ghost stood at the window. Do you know what? I've watched it so many times, and I've watched that scene, and I can't see fuck all.
It's a fold-up stand-up, a folding cardboard stand-up. But people have said, "Oh, there's a ghost in the back," and it's just
it's like it was like a complete hoax, and it was just. I think I did it for shits and giggles.
Yeah. I remember that's been around for years.
Yeah, but
now back to you in the studio, Dave.
What's that?
I said back to you in the studio, Dave.
Yeah, but you're saying that just I was saying back to the episode. Like Snell's definitely a bit of a creep. I mean, say he has suspicious, but I mean, he's like the little boy who cried wolf based on how the villagers reacted to him at the end of the episode. Just like, go get a real job. I'm sorry.
Yeah, that's what I got. I got the feel of it. Like it was them telling the cry wolf story, and then of course, I mean, we all know the end of the cry wolf. Nobody believes them, so something bad happens.
Yeah, grape head. Yep.
I was just going to mention that was just so great when that like really tiny grape fell out the bag and with the face drawn on it. That was very brilliant. Castaway. I don't know why.
It was kind of brilliant, actually. Yeah.
No, but at the crash side, obviously they're saying based on their time differential, this has been here for years. If no one's come across it now, no one's going to come across it. Then of course Snell shows up because he's following the girls, which is that just adds a little bit of creepiness to his character right then and there. But just how T'Lyn just kind of broke out the rocks and just started juggling, and just like, woo! And she, I didn't know you juggle. I didn't know I could
don't.
either.
Algorithmic tossing.
Algorithmic tossing.
Yep.
Yeah. And of course, Tendi didn't like that one bit because I mean she's competing against T'Lyn for that senior officer position. But,
Yeah, when it comes to Snell, I really didn't like him. He was like an outcast, but he was also like an opportunist. Like trying to get them executed as witches, you know, trying to start something. That was a little too close to home for me. I hated him even more for that. As soon as he was just like, you know, I've got you now, witches, I'm just like, oh, for fuck's sake, you can piss off. You know, I didn't like you before, and now I don't like you even more.
Well, that was interesting about the character of Snell, right? I mean, it embraced that history of like pre-warp civilization and the mythology around ancient peoples, or especially like in the Middle Ages. So you got that allure of suspensefulness and supernatural, like, I don't know what word I'm thinking right now, but that supernatural creepiness of just not knowing, I guess.
The thing is, we've like this situation with Snell, we theorized so much about like if we was to take technology, like if we was to use technology, like if we was to go back in time to say like the 1500s, you know, and they were to see us using our cell phones, or you know, or like I mean they didn't have wristwatches then, you know, but especially like digital ones and things like that, and like medicine and all these things that they could possibly perceive us as gods or deities. No, they wouldn't. They would, like, going back in time like that, they would have the same reaction as what Snell did, and that they would cry magic, they would cry witchcraft, and you know, maybe going back a lot further before witches are evil, you know, all came about in the time before like religion was developed, then maybe that like using our technology there, like having music blaring from our smartphones, you know, maybe then they would perceive us as advanced beings, you know, like deities or something. But it all depends on what time period you go back to as to how you would be perceived. And you know, I mean, oh no, that's not even Star Trek, that's the Orville. But when they go down to a planet in the Orville, and the first officer, I can't remember her name.
Kelly.
Yeah, Grace. Kelly. She heals that little girl with the head injury, and she's made into a god. You know, that's because of like the time period of that. And yeah, the Ori, you know, they would, you know, but going back to like, and it all depends on what time frame you was to go back to, or what stage of a civilization, you know, it all depends on how their civilization is developed, what they believe in. I mean, you know, like the Ori were perceived as gods, you know, whereas because they had like a deeper understanding, they had certain powers, but they were just on a higher plane of existence, that they'd ascended. Basically, they were ascended beings. But you know, that could have panned out so differently, you know, on certain planets, and I'm sure it did, and those planets were obliterated. because that's what the Ori did. If they perceived it as magic and evil, and they didn't want to know about the Book of Ori, the Book of Origin, sorry, so it really does all depend. And this is a perfect example of it. They were obviously at a stage in their development on this planet where Snell was. They were obviously in a stage of their civilization's development where there was a lot of superstition going around. And I think that if they had have found Data's head, or they'd have seen any of their technology, they would have possibly have tried burning them at the stake or hanging them or some form of execution, as witches. And
I'd like to add something on that, actually. I come from a different standpoint, looking further into like the Sumerian idea. I think that religion actually is what came first on the establishment of technological advancements because of those who came here first from the heavens, right? The gods. So I think that when people go to an extreme level as we get further on, it's because on their religion is because they've lost something from the past that they're trying to reclaim. And so they don't know. So they get a little bit more suspicious and cater to their beliefs in order to hide that eeriness, that creepiness, their fear. And now that we're now in a time where we're bringing back that technological idea. You're having a clash of culture between that fear level and the fear of technology, because we're still stuck in that middle ground. And I think that's what I got kind of gathered with the Snell character, and how we can kind of learn from that, from the past, that in between motion. But I really do. I think that religion came before, civilization, and then the civilization technologically advanced because we actually were visited by some beings from our distant past that are the so-called gods. And then we lost that edge and let our fear take over, and the religious zealotry. I can't talk tonight. The religious zealots take over.
Told you my ditziness and my fumbling of words will rub off on you. People don't believe me until it happens. They really don't. But I do warn people from the off. People watching right now, if you watch regular, my ditziness and my fumbling of words will rub off on you. Ask Dave.
It's happened to me. It's happened to me.
I don't think it's happened to me yet. I think I'm just stuttering Stanley. I love that movie.
Oh no, I could tell a story of you and your ditziness, dear, that you told me last week.
Oh no.
Yeah. What did you
throw out in the
open?
Trash? What?
What did you accidentally throw in the trash?
What did I throw in the trash? I forgot.
Your dinner plate.
Oh, what?
Your dinner plate.
Oh, my dinner plate. I forgot. Yeah, I see. Maybe it is rubbing off. I couldn't even remember that.
And I'm very proud of that fact. It's only a matter of time before it happens to Phil.
Well, at least it was a plate. I forget if I picked it out of the trash. My lazy ass, I probably left it in the trash.
I can't remember if you said that you retrieved it or not.
I forget.
All I remember is you saying that you'd accidentally thrown your dinner plate in the trash along with the cutlery.
Yeah.
See, well,
that sounds like me. That does sound like me.
I still have several pages of notes, so let's get back to talking the episode.
Cool.
So yeah, we got the juggling balls. Got whoa.
Little thing I wrote down when they found Data's head. You know, if you notice the music, they played a little bit of Next Gen theme.
I missed. Darn it! I missed that.
A music person. I pick up on all the little music cues.
I'm usually pretty good at that. That was like one of them. Well, I don't know why I'm getting a lot of feedback tonight.
Yeah, so am I.
Oh, I'm not the only one. I was about ready to mention that.
Yeah,
there was a lot of feedback.
Yeah.
It's progressively gotten worse as the episode's gone on, so I'm just like, what the heck?
Okay. It's not terrible yet,
but it's gone now.
Yeah, oh, it sounds like a StreamYard issue then. Maybe their servers are kind of acting wonky. I don't think it's any of us.
It's technological, therefore blame Mercury retrograde.
Yeah, there you go. Mercury retrograde.
But yeah, going back to the planet. Say we've turned out like 4 months have passed, and Mariner's just bored out of her gourd. She's like, I need a holodeck. And this feels like a Picard thing from the Inner Light, saying that in 25 minutes he lived a life, and all of a sudden she says, "Oh my God, I gotta make myself a flute."
Right to the end of the episode.
Yeah, that was painful to listen to.
Yes, it was.
It really was.
And
was it a soup flute? You know, I mean, who makes a flute out of fucking soap? I'm sorry, but
I've heard it's such a
soap or soapstone. I know they used to make anciently they make it out of soapstone. But that's
I'm sorry, but could you imagine the taste left on your lips after playing something made of soap?
Oh, it's not soap like we know soap. Soapstone's a bit different. It's just a softer stone that they call soapstone because you can carve it very easily. But it's not like soap. If that makes sense.
I actually just found it really funny that she said stupid soap flute and then she threw it on the floor. You know, if that isn't a prison joke and a half, I don't know what it is. Don't drop the soap.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I had a little chuckle at that. There was a lot of innuendo in this episode. I picked up on a lot of it, unfortunately. It seemed to be just like one innuendo after another, more so than any other Lower Deck episode. And you know, I don't know if they did the innuendo of "don't drop the soap." I don't know. I don't know if that was intentional or if it was, again, it was just a coinkydink. But I think that they might have done it deliberately because of all the other innuendos that was in this. It was a very naughty episode for innuendos.
Yeah, but again, the references are strong.
They're strong in this one.
Yeah,
yes, I don't know how much longer I can laugh. This one. Like Hops just get worse and worse. But there's an Enterprise reference, just that when Snell's like lurking around the door and Mariner just whacks him with the broomstick. Why is there always a lurker when you're in a carbon crate situation?
Oh yes, I got that. I remembered it.
And then we learned that Purple Data has dealt with Prime Data experiences because I've been ahead before with the 19th century San Francisco. So I was like, they definitely there was a continuity between the two universes there. And same, but yeah, Snell being a creep, peeping on Tendi and Data in the trees and stuff. So like creep factor 10. This guy's just like has nothing better to do.
Yeah, he's all right peeping, Tom. I mean, she could have been getting undressed or anything in peeping through the bloody window.
Mm-hmm.
Honestly, I'd have done more than hit him in the face with a freaking broom.
I'd be hitting him.
Data at him.
See, I would have been hitting Snell with the other end of the broom from the other end of his body, just kind of.
I wouldn't have even done that. I'd have kicked him in his bollocks. I really would, like repeatedly. You know, because I'm nice like that.
I've always liked that term, bollocks. Sounds nicer than testicles. Why is it that British? We're technically Trek, man. Why bollocks? Why bollocks?
I don't know, but bollocks is better than testicles, and chesticles are better than testicles.
Touche.
But the right after Epic Succession, that when Tendi and Data are talking about saying there aren't very many Orion scientists, Strange New Worlds. There's a total dig on that too.
Yeah, I get that.
But Mariner,
I would have missed that because I haven't watched Strange New Worlds yet. So.
Well, you can actually kind of get away with watching those old scientists from the second season, since it's a Strange New Worlds or a Lower Decks crossover episode.
Yeah,
and so you don't have to know a lot about what's going on in either of the series to watch and enjoy that one. That's one thing that's nice about Strange New Worlds is it's very episodic.
That's what I've heard. Yeah. That is what I heard. I am sinful, Katie.
Yeah.
Blasphemous.
But
I will go back and watch Stranger Worlds though.
You have to. You have to. It's official homework. And I did my official homework. I had to do my official homework when I was given official homework to watch Enterprise and Discovery. I did my homework, Sam, good girl. And you know, I'm as innocent as the day I was hatched. But it took me 3 months to get through season 1 of Discovery. But I persevered because I do my homework, and now I'm giving you official homework. You have to watch Strange New Worlds.
Damn.
Only 20 episodes.
Nothing, no pressure.
Should be a good boy.
Is it animated? Just like
no.
I mean, it's not. So how did they do the crossover?
Let's say it was a time portal that was found on a planet, and then Boimler got sucked up into it, got spat on the other side in the past, and he was flesh and bone Dennis Quaid. And then Tommy Newsom. Oh, what did you? I just saw the end of it. What happened? That Katie.
No, I did a dance. I told everybody to join in, but you didn't. So you know the time has passed. Hopefully the viewers noticed.
That's all that matters is the viewers.
Exactly.
Yeah. Then Boimler was about to go back, and then Mariner jumped through the portal to save him and just caused more chaos.
That was a brilliant episode. I loved that crossover episode. Those old scientists, I really do. The live action version of Boimler and Mariner are just absolutely amazing. And you know, Jack Quaid, he really does get the animated Boimler walk down.
Right.
yeah, and that as well. You know, you have to watch Strange New World, and you have to watch that episode definitely. But you've got to watch it in order.
Well, like I said, he can watch those old scientists out of order, and he'll be okay.
No, that's not how we do things here. We do things orderly. Maybe
not. Sometimes.
Maybe not. Maybe I would recommend seeing them in order. There's,
Yeah,
there's
so
a
what's
couple
your
of
new-
there are a few like little
yeah,
tidbits
little
that
arcs.
kind of yeah.
because you're gonna go, what happened to this character? What happened to that? So yeah, it's,
yeah, but also when season 3 of Strange New Worlds, we'll discuss that in a minute, Jeff. When season 3 of Strange New Worlds starts, we will be discussing it on here, so you will need to catch up by then.
Oh, of course.
Yeah, so I'm thinking it's going to be like late February, early March.
Mm-hmm.
So you've got a couple of months.
No pressure.
To what 10 episodes? 20 episodes?
yeah, it's not. They're not
Something
long.
like that.
So, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you can get away with maybe
That's
2 a week, and then you'll be fine.
that's a whole weekend, man.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly. Or one day, like, one day for me. But no, Jeff put a comment on saying probably his favourite episode of Strange New World. I do kind of agree, but and it's not a guilty pleasure. I have no guilty pleasures because I don't believe any pleasure should be a guilty pleasure. I'm torn between Those Old Scientists and the musical episode. I love the musical episode. I really do. So those are like my 2 favourites of Strange New Worlds. I really need to see if I can get the soundtrack to that episode on my Spotify.
Oh, there's a soundtrack for it.
Oh, where's my phone?
Yeah.
I made a note about something else here that I just sort of took note of in this episode was when Tendi got the Data's head working, and it felt a little bit Frankensteinish in that moment. There's a storm outside. He's hooked up, and I was like, yeah, there's a little bit of a nod to Frankenstein there.
I didn't even think of that. I recognized the storm, but I didn't even think of Frankenstein.
I could be maybe overlooking that a bit, but it felt a little bit like reviving the head kind of thing, and the lightning and thunder outside.
But speaking of heads, Mariner poking that guy in the eye with one of her horns. He's like, she assaulted me, and she gets thrown in jail for 2 months. And she gets out, puts out the eternal flame. 5 minutes later, bam, she's back in jail again.
Oh, I knew she was going to screw that up.
And then she starts making friends, and then she's free.
Yeah, and then she just doesn't give a crap about I'm sorry, but that really pissed me off.
She did try. She tried to see if they'd release them. They said no.
Yeah, then there's like so many Times Arrow references because, of course, the disembodied head, the electromagnetic field core that Data made is what Tendi made, and Data making some guy in a silver jumpsuit. It's like, oh my god! What was that, Phil?
I needed to ask about that. I thought, where am I missing something there? It's been a long time, so I'm like, I felt like
the episode of Times Arrow, the guy that was working underground excavating the ruins, he was wearing a silver jumpsuit. A lot of the early TNG episodes, like off base scientists, they're wearing like just these weird little silver suits with like a weird little thing around the shoulders and whatnot. They're being kind of an off green and gray and silver, but yeah, it's like one of those reusable uniforms.
It's funny. It's one of my favorite episodes. When you said that, I'm like, why do I not remember the reference to that? What am I missing?
But I mean, Tendi though, I mean, she is isolating herself, trying to just working with Data, just getting his head, figured out ways to get the generator going continuously, so she doesn't have to keep on cranking it to keep Data turned on. Which, they turn Data's crank, Tendi. The innuendo there. But when
she realizes how fully functional he is,
exactly. But when T'Lyn found that the oils from those fruits are a great natural beauty product, Tendi's like, of course you did.
Yeah.
As a she was not a happy camper.
Yeah, Tendi was not a very happy camper throughout the entire episode, in all honesty.
Yeah.
She was being a bit of a bitch in this episode, in all honesty.
Yeah,
and I know that
Kinda,
Tendi can be a bit bitchy, you know.
She was extremely determined to show Freeman that she's the person to get the senior science officer position, and she didn't care who got in the way. She's just like bowling over everybody to say, this is my job. And saying she just forgot that T'Lyn is her friend. And of course, as soon as they go,
it wasn't just determination and a one-track mind. There were times when she was a full-on bitch.
Oh yeah.
And I was just like, you know, your time on Orion has really screwed you over. And then she actually came out and said basically that to Lynn.
Yeah. So she basically realized that it all came full circle. That's what that was what was great.
Yeah.
Once they get Nell sneering and ties them both up, and he's determined to expose them. And of course, T'Lyn just trying to say, hey, do you want me to do more of the rhythmic juggling? And he's like, yes. Like, wait a minute, no.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
I liked that.
See the comedy of that's what I like, the comedy element of that, just something like that. That's what made this episode. But then I think who said it earlier, was it Travis? I agree with them on the fact like they were trying to be funny with them, like trying to clean up the mess on the control panel and in the teleporter room, and then they start licking it. It's like, why? I mean, that's not
my thought.
That's just stupid.
In
the same aspect, it's a very Boimler thing to do. And then, you know, you've got the 5-second rule, and then you've got waste not, want not. You know, and so there was all that. And I actually found it quite funny because it's so stupid. It's because of how stupid it is. It's very believable that Boimler would do it.
Well, yeah.
But again, the early episodes. I mean, the first 4 seasons. I mean, he's progressing. Now he's kind of like going back down again.
Tanking.
Yeah, and there's a perfectly good explanation for that. And I've said it from day one. He is trying so difficult to emulate his alter ego self from another universe. He's reverting, like he's more than reverting. You know, he's completely losing his marbles because he is trying to be somebody he's not. And this is why he needs to shave. As soon as he shaves, he'll be fine. It's the fuzz of the face that is doing this to him. You know, and it's not him. He's trying to be someone he's not. He's trying to look like someone he's not. And, you know, he just needs to be himself, and then maybe he will stop acting like a complete bumbling buffoon.
Blame the beard.
Yes, I do. I blame the facial fuzz. I do. And, you know, everything's connected to that facial fuzz when it comes to Boimler at the minute. And I mean, it suits Rutherford. Is it Rutherford? Yeah, it suits him. You know,
they're doing it for different reasons, though. It's his whole mindset behind growing it.
Yeah, but the thing is, it suits him, you know. You know, little bit of stubble, that's fine. It's nice and even. Whereas Boimler's is very patchy. It just doesn't suit him. It doesn't suit his personality. Whereas it suits Rutherford. It suits his personality. Right. I wouldn't say for him
they're growing it for different reasons, though. That's the whole thing, I think, is that Rutherford's growing it just to grow it, just because he wants to do it for fun, where Boimler is trying to be something he's not. And
exactly, you know, and this is why I'm saying it. It suits Rutherford as a person, his personality, his whole look, but with Boimler, because that's not who he is, you know, he is trying to be someone he's not, and he really needs to shave. He really does. It looks stupid. Yeah, I want to slap him with my wrist rest.
It's going to be waiting for
face, you know.
They're waiting for the cliffhanger ending of the series finale where it half of it burns off, but then it just fades to black, and you got to guess if it all burned off. That's it.
Don't do this to me. Don't do this to me. Don't be evil.
Tell that to the producers. They're probably going to do it.
They better fucking not do it, or I will complain profusely. I will metaphorically slap them via email.
Tell them, if they do it, tell them to make a short movie that explains if he'd shaved the beard, or if the beard burned entirely and he survived.
Yeah, because I'll need closure on that. If you know, if you know, it's
Fat Kitty.
Fat Kitty.
No. I don't know. You know, I've even taken the batteries out of the remote, and it's not interference from the remote. I don't know what the hell's going on.
Mercury.
I blame Mercury.
It's Mercury.
Yeah, I blame Mercury for all my technological problems because my webcam's been behaving recently, but in the last couple of weeks, it's been a bitch. But no, I need closure on the beard thing so that he's got to shave before the season finale. With it being the final season, he's got to fucking shave that thing off.
You got to remember, though, say when they put this to the can, they didn't know it was going to be the last season. So
I don't care. He needs to shave it off like ASAP. He needs, he needs to shave it off.
They've always wrapped everything up at the end of each season, though. I don't know if they carried something over into the following season yet.
Yes, when Freeman got arrested for the destruction of Pac-Led Planet.
Oh, right, yeah. I can't see them, as a Star Trek. I can't see them leaving that hanging like that. Even if it ends, they'll wrap it up with either an additional episode or a movie or something. They'll wrap it up with.
The way they ended season 2 of Prodigy, I won't say anything, Katie, but it just, other than it's like, oh boy.
Season 2 of what?
Prodigy.
Oh, I don't give a shit about Prodigy. You can spoil that all you like.
Oh, it ended with the attack on Mars.
Huh.
From Picard.
When
the synths went all cuckoo and blew up the planet, essentially.
Did Chakotay get killed off?
What's that?
Did Chakotay die?
No.
Oh, crap. Sorry.
I'm turning the volume down because I haven't seen it yet.
They should kill Harry Kim off as well.
I agree.
Well, we'll see what happens with that.
You see, you can't spoil anything for me with Prodigy because I don't give a crap about it. It's rubbish.
I think they make Harold Kim an admiral.
I want to blow him out of an airlock.
Well, there's going to Well,
barely.
It's more than one Harry Kim. Now, so I don't know what's going on with that.
I already know about that because I said that the more than one Harry Kim, they're ripping off Spider-Man. Well, no, it's rather the ripping off Spider-Man or the ripping off DC, but more than likely they're ripping off DC with the 5 Brainiac 5s.
See, that Harry Kim has 2 pips. It's like, oh boy.
But yeah, no. One Harry Kim is enough. More than one Harry Kim is just too much, and definitely any more than that, I want to blow them out of an airlock one by one.
That's what they should have done. They should have left them in the Delta Quadrant.
Oh yeah, they should have done. Yeah.
Why they didn't?
Well, I don't think it's going to be this next episode, so it's probably going to be episode 9 when they have all the Harry Kims.
Yeah,
Oh God!
I want him to be killed off. I really do. I want him to be blown out of an airlock and then hit by a shuttle. Just like accidentally on purpose, of course. Maybe.
Mine was probably low key wouldn't mind seeing that either.
I mean, maybe
that would be hilarious.
Ensign Ollie could have a slight mishap, and the airlock next to Harry Kim could open, and then she could accidentally zap a shuttle, and it could like zoom and run him over. I mean, that'd be good comedy. I would do a happy dance live on the show if that happened.
You'd be cackling maniacally, though.
I really would. You have to mute me. I would be cackling maniacally. I would be doing a happy dance. I would make myself an extra strong anti-homicide juice, and I would throw a one-woman party.
Is he in Prodigy?
No.
Because it's like, I was gonna say, because Voyager's over, we should never see or hear from him again.
Exactly, and we should find out that he has died in a tragic death.
Yeah, but Chakotay and Janeway are in Prodigy. Another legacy character is in Prodigy prominently. 2 actually, one prominent, one not so prominent, but. And there's actually a Picard character in it as well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the Doctor from Voyager's in it.
Oh, that too. Him too. Yeah, he plays a prominent role as well. But weirdly, I want to say I had a dream about the finale of Prodigy long before it even aired, and as soon as I saw it, and I was just like, oh my God, I knew this was going to happen. I had a dream about this.
I remember saying, I don't know if it was on a show or if it was when we was chatting on Discord one night, but I know that I remember saying, even though I'm not going to watch Prodigy, it's probably going to end in a massive explosion.
Say that again?
Like I said, I don't know if it was on a show or on Discord, but I said I'm not going to watch Prodigy. I can't get into season 1, so I'm definitely not watching season 2. But it's probably going to end in a major explosion of some sort.
Well, there was a large explosion. So I have to say, yeah.
Yeah, and it couldn't have really ended any other way. In all honesty,
well, it was the finale. It was close to the finale.
But yeah, for me, Prodigy wasn't very good track.
Zero had a good arc in season 2, though.
Who?
Zero, the Medusan.
I don't know.
The little sphere guy, or sphere person. Because they were didn't have.
I don't know. I don't remember. I think I've erased it from my mind. I just
I'm sure the Cerritos crew would wish they could erase from their minds Mariner's flute playing at the end of the episode.
Yes, that was painful to listen to. I was just like full on cringe. I actually muted my TV.
I turned it off.
I don't.
The episode was over.
Yeah, I cannot fault you for that at all.
Yeah.
That was just wrong on so many levels. It was as wrong as Boimler's beard.
But Data though, he had the purple Data had quite a bit of sass to him versus like our Prime Data. It's just like, what color is your ships? It's like just gray. It's just like I think that is a missed opportunity when purple is an option.
That was great.
Yeah, I like that. I loved Data sass throughout the episode because it was, even though it was being very matter of fact, there was like a little bit of sass there with it. But there again, if you go back through all of Next Gen, Data can be quite sassy, like before his emotion chip, and just. Even though he's been very matter of fact on a few things and he's speaking very logically and like to some degree clinically at times, it can come across as being very sassy. That was really nice to see a little bit of colourful sass. But now, considering Data is one of the most put together and logical people in the Star Trek universe, he loses his head a lot.
Yeah, I was like, he wasn't very put together in this episode.
No, it was quite all over the place, quite literally. Scatterbrain. He was more than a fucking scatterbrain in this. But Data has just, he's made this entire series for me, this entire season. I wouldn't say this episode is the best episode in the season, but Data is the best thing that's happened to this season. Oh yeah, I'd love to see Garrett.
Data is the season.
Yeah. Yeah,
but no, I mean, people are going to hate me for this, and I'm really sorry, but, you should know me by now. I'm being honest. As much as I'm looking forward to the next episode and the rest of the episodes in the season, I'm actually looking forward for Lower Decks to end.
I'm glad you kind of mentioned that, Katie, because the way the count, we got 3 episodes left to go. The last episode airs on December 19th, which means the following Wednesday is Christmas Day, which I'm sure everybody's got something to do on Christmas Day. Well, it's going to be Boxing Day for you at that point, Katie, but I was thinking to do the finale episode for Technically Trek on that Monday. That's like the 23rd. I don't know what your guys' calendar is like on that Monday before Christmas.
My calendar's wide open. I mean, do it Christmas Day for me. I'm gonna be on my own for Christmas, so it doesn't really bother me. But I'm open to any day for doing that episode. But I do think.
Kind of motion you feel. Yeah, you're muted.
I accidentally muted myself there. Yeah, when I dropped something. I was sorry. I was just going to say I should, if I can do this from an iPhone or iPad, I should be okay. I'll be at my aunt's place. So
Travis is always doing it off of his phone. That's why his orientation is a little different. So
right, okay.
Yeah, you can click on the link. It'll work on your phone just fine.
Okay, all right. I should do it from there.
They
turn in, my aunt and my cousin turn in really early, so by the time we start, they'll probably be off to bed. So.
Yeah, because
I absolutely can't let you know, but I should likely be able to.
Okay. Yeah, so I was thinking doing the breakdown for the finale on that Monday, and then the following Wednesday, of course, is New Year's. Thinking just take that week off altogether, and then we'll start talking about old episodes again until the Section 31 movie comes out. So we'll do a deep dive discussion on that.
Right.
Yeah, it is actually probably best that we don't do it New Year's because because it's 1 a.m. that we do the show my time. The fireworks will still be going off here, and I'll be in the middle of a panic attack. So it'd be best that people don't see that live on the show.
But Dave, the algorithms, you got to drop something.
Oh, I'll figure. I might figure something out. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, because
hopefully
the algorithms that persnickety.
Yeah.
But we could still do another show the Monday before New Year.
Or we could do that. Yeah.
Yeah.
And that'll keep the algorithm going.
Yeah, because like Monday's essentially my only other free day of the week. I'm saying so. Like, yeah, Tuesdays I got my AA meetings. Wednesday, obviously, we're doing this. Thursday, I partake in Strange New Pods episodes too. So that day's freed up. Then Friday AA again. Saturday CA meeting. So yeah, Mondays and Wednesdays are all my free evenings.
Well, yes. So like the Monday before
Christmas and New Year's.
Before New Year's, and then the Monday before
Christmas, before my birthday.
Yeah. But yeah, those 2 Mondays, if we have the show then, it can.
But who knows? Maybe doing those 2 weeks on a Monday, if I get more viewers on Monday, we might just make it Monday permanently. Who knows?
Well, yeah, I mean, I don't mind. I really don't. I mean, it makes no difference to me because of my sleep schedule, so or lack thereof. So,
but my brain derailed there for a second. It's gone. Yay! But no, like some of the closing moments of the episode, they're saying Freeman was offering Purple Data to stay in their universe. It's like, no, I got to get back to Geordi. Geordi's my best friend. Aww.
Yeah. Data's no matter what universe it is, Data's just a sweetie pie, and I love him.
But
yeah, you got to get back to Geordi.
Yeah, but Tendi. Yeah, but Tendi was none too pleased with the boys when they got beamed back. It's like, it was a random L-Cars issue. It's like, yeah, you spilled your freaking drink on the L-Cars display. It is an L-Cars issue that you caused.
I wouldn't have been as nice.
Yeah, Tendi was not nice. She was ready to rip their heads off and shove a dagger up their butthole.
I don't know. What confuses me is, couldn't they have actually asked the computer to clean it up?
That is a good question, or get a dot to go in there and clean it up.
That too, yeah.
That's what do that.
It was less than a minute that it took them to clean it up.
I guess.
It took them less than a minute. It just seemed longer.
Oh yeah, it did seem longer because they're on the planet.
So I mean, licking the console clean. That it didn't take them that long.
No, it didn't.
Got to give Boimler credit for something. He's good with his mouth.
But I mean, it wouldn't have taken that long to say computer clean mess.
But on the flip side, there's like no food in the transporter control room, so they might not have
Oh yeah, that's true.
anything in there because
Exactly.
That is true.
management's thinking that people would be cognizant, thinking, yeah, no food in here. He was saying, oh, what?
Goofballs.
Oh, I didn't even think of that. Oh my god, the amount of weed she could have grown. Holy crap! Why didn't she think of that?
I don't know.
Oh my god, I love you, Jeff. I don't know who you are, but I love you.
I may
have forgiven you for not liking the musical episode. Strange New Worlds after that comment.
But Jeff's a frequent viewer participant on Dangerous Thought, so I'm glad to have you stick around for my show as well, Jeff. It's much appreciated. But
definitely. I mean, I have seen Jeff in the live chat for DT, but I still don't know who you are, Jeff. But I may have just forgiven you for not. I mean, you'll never be fully forgiven, but you know, partially. Oh, and we love you too, my darling. Oh, we love you too. Mwah, mwah. And we love all our viewers. We really do. Mm-hmm. Just, keep it up.
Keeping it united with some Star Trek, technically.
When they were cleaning up when they were cleaning the console, I had this flash in mind. Could you imagine if Miles O'Brien walked in on that?
Oh God!
Say what the bloody hell?
Oh no! Yeah, I thought Miles.
One upset Pete's.
Oh.
Yeah, that wouldn't have happened if Miles was in there. Transporter accidents never happen when Miles is in the control room.
No,
I'm sorry.
Except that one time.
That
there was this one
room.
time.
That's true. It wasn't.
There was this one time, but I don't think he was on the ship. I think he was on vacation.
What time?
I forget, honestly. I can't even think of a time with Miles O'Brien where something went AWOL.
But no, his life went to shit all the time. But when he was in was it Transporter Room 3 on the Enterprise?
Well, it wasn't the only one, but that was his favorite transporter room.
When he was in the transporter room on the Enterprise, nothing ever went wrong when he was on duty. It only ever went up when somebody else was on duty. If Miles had been on duty, they wouldn't have got turned into kids.
Yeah.
Yep.
If Miles was on duty, they wouldn't have thought that Ro and Geordie were dead. That wouldn't have happened. And I maintain this. And I am unanimous in this. None of that would have happened if Miles was there.
It was this place of peace. His life was so chaotic that he was very orderly and punctual inside that transporter room.
Oh yeah, he was the best goddamn transporter chief there was. I'm surprised that it didn't go all tits up once he left.
Hell of an actor too, by the way. I forget his actual name, but he is a hell of an actor. Colum. It's pronounced Colum, damn it. I'm Irish.
No, see, I
call him Paul.
No, O'Brien was.
He is a really good actor. He was actually in a couple of episodes of Stargate Atlantis.
Mm-hmm. As Cowan.
Yeah, he
the Janai.
Yes, the Janai. Yeah, and it was a bit. He played a bit of a dickhead in that.
Mm-hmm.
What episode of SG-1 was he in?
Don't think he was in SG-1.
No, he wasn't. He was in Atlantis.
Just Atlantis, yeah.
Yeah.
But no, he was on duty in the transporter room in Rascals when he beamed his wife, Picard, Guinan, and Ro saying that they lost 40% body mass. So he thought that they lost one of them, but it turned out they were all kids again.
Right. Yeah. Remember that now.
Yeah, as soon as you were saying just like, yeah. I think because he was there, and then when Keiko was trying to show affection, he was kind of freaked out by it.
I thought that somebody else was on duty when they were beamed in, but he's the one that sorted them out when they turned back.
No, when he turned back, but he was the one that beamed them over from the Fermi as well.
I blame sabotage.
I
don't blame Miles. It was sabotage.
Yeah.
Miles can do no wrong, in my opinion. He really can't. But no, he is a damn good officer, and he's the only reason why DS9 didn't fall apart.
Mm-hmm.
He kept that place together, and he's probably like the best engineer in Starfleet. And they should have a Miles O'Brien Day to celebrate his greatness.
Well, they kind of did talk about that in one of the early episodes of Lower Decks.
Oh, yeah. Good love, Miles. He's a legend.
Yeah, but nowhere near Geordie LaForge.
But honestly, could you imagine if there was like this really big, like, timey-wimey, complete fuck-up? Could you imagine, like, Miles O'Brien, Geordie LaForge, B'Elanna Torres, and Trip, and Scotty? Could you imagine those 5 engineers getting together?
Oy.
Would there be weed involved? Because I imagine there'd be weed involved.
Oh yeah, definitely. There'd be weed involved.
And peyote.
But no, could you imagine if it was like really big, like, timeline fuck up, and it brought all of those 5 engineers together?
That would be sick.
Honestly, it would be absolutely phenomenal because, like, they are the engineers of Starfleet, in my opinion. I mean, B'Elanna had some really good ideas. I don't know why it had never been thought of before, but I mean, B'Elanna came up with a skeletal lock for the transporters. It was never used again, as far as I'm aware, but she came up with it at like the last minute to try and beam them up when they couldn't any other way. And like locking onto the minerals in their bone tissue. I mean, that was just absolutely brilliant. And yeah, I would love those to get together. I think they'd be able to solve the problems of the freaking universe if them 5 got together.
I'm looking at something right now.
So next week's the 12th.
So I think they did something pretty close back in 2019, the Q conflict, where they got Q and T'Lyn and some. Unfortunately, this is probably one you would not have any interest in, Katie, because they deal with a lot of original series actors and characters in it as well. So,
I mean, I don't mind. You see, it's only really Shatner that I don't like. He's the reason why I don't like TOS and like the acting in general. But I actually don't mind the other characters. I mean, I loved Scotty. If you don't like Scotty, then there really is something wrong with you.
Everyone loves Scotty.
Oh, Scott is brilliant. I mean, I love. I love all the characters in the Kelvin timeline movies. I really do. I mean, Simon Pegg playing Scotty is just absolutely amazing. I love him as an actor.
He did do a good Scotty. He did.
Oh yeah, he really
but
did.
He's still not.
I think that all of them did the characters justice, and I actually do think that going by the original character profile for Kirk, Chris Pine does a hell of a lot better than Shatner.
Yeah.
Yes.
I still don't know what to think of Paul Wesley. Need to see more of him as Kirk, but I mean, I don't like him as an actor anyway, so he's really going to have to step things up as an actor if he wants to, do justice to the character profile of Kirk.
Speaking of the Kelvin timeline, how about Dr. Bones, played by what's his name?
Carl Urban.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What
he really nailed the voice and the mannerisms.
Oh, he did.
Yeah.
He really did. I absolutely adore him. It's hard to believe he's the same guy in Ragnarok. It's just, and then in is it Lord of the Rings or The Hobbit?
The Boys.
The Boys.
Yeah. Oh, I know. Yeah, I know he's in that, but no.
He's Judge Dredd.
Yeah.
But no,
I could not finish that.
He really did that character justice, and bless him. He died in that accident, but the young lad who played Chekhov, I absolutely adored him.
Anton Yelkin.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, I absolutely adored him. But I think they all did the characters justice. I mean,
they did.
I mean, like, my favorites are Carl Urban's interpretation of McCoy and Zachary, what's his name as Spock?
Quinto.
Yeah, Zachary Quinto, that's it.
Yeah.
I think that those two did the best job out of the lot of them.
Yeah. Zachary Quinton, he did a hell of a job, and
he was handpicked by Leonard Nimoy.
Yeah, and the best part was in the first one was when you actually get to see the two Spocks meet. Basically, that was awesome.
Yeah.
So the fact that you still gave homage to Leonard Nimoy, and he was in the film, and
I know they became actually very good friends in real life.
Yes,
that's what I heard.
During the interview process, Leonard Nimoy basically was a consultant during the interview process for the role of Spock, and as soon as he saw Zachary, he was just like, he is my Spock.
Yep. He's my replacement.
Zachary Quinto was actually handpicked by Leonard Nimoy himself, and Leonard Nimoy just knew, and he really did Spock justice. He really did. But as well, in Star Trek Beyond, I really liked the fact, like obviously that they had to incorporate Leonard Nimoy's death, but when they got his personal effects, there was the photo of the original cast of TOS, but obviously a lot older, and the full crew photo. I think that was a nice touch.
Yeah.
And bringing the original and the reimagining together, different timelines. I think that was a really nice touch.
Yeah.
But yeah, they all did the characters justice, in my opinion. But especially Zachary Quinto and Carl Urban.
And Chris Pine.
Well, yeah, I mean, Chris Pine, definitely. I mean, like I say, going by the actual character profile of James T. Kirk, Shatner just completely screws that up. He does not do justice to the original character profile of James T. Kirk, whereas Chris Pine does. Yes, he's arrogant. Yeah, he's a bit of a ladies' man, but you see more of his personality, not his facade. And that's what I like about Chris Pine, because he's very confident, no fucks given, bit of a ladies' man. But at the end of the day, he knows what's what, and you actually see the care inside of him. You see the uncertainty within him, his struggle, whereas William Shatner never allowed that to be seen. All that, it was once in a blue moon.
I think I don't want to go too far off, but I think Shatner may have ruined the original Trek, because he got mad that Leonard Nimoy was getting all the attention when the show started to become popular. Everybody really liked Spock. They loved the Vulcan.
Yeah.
And Shatner was like, the show's supposed to be about me. And when they apparently tried to do other shows that were about other characters, he didn't like that. He always felt like, I'm paid the most, I'm the main character, I should be on camera the most, this is about me. And they had to change some of the scripts and some of the show plots just so that it would revolve more around him.
William Shatner is an arrogant son of a bitch, and he is very selfish, and
he murdered his wife.
There's a few reasons why I won't watch, why I don't like TOS, but it is mainly because of him. And he destroyed the original character profile of James T. Kirk, but Chris Pine luckily saved it.
Yeah.
And I will always maintain that. And I don't care what people say. Some people are very loyal to TOS. And I understand that. In some ways, I'm quite loyal to TOS, regardless of what I say about it. And I'm being perfectly honest in what I say and also what I'm about to say. I am still loyal to TOS because it was the start of a legend. And I appreciate Gene Roddenberry's vision. And it is his insistence on, mowing down a load of barriers, breaking through barriers. And, I'll always have a great deal of respect for it. I just can't stand watching the shit.
Well, Gene I think, and this is why I'm a next-gen head, more so than TOS. I think Gene Roddenberry actually got to fulfill most of what he wanted to do in TOS with the next generation.
Yeah.
So I would actually say, because of next gen, you actually could kind of scrap TOS if you you really anymore. You could actually skip TOS and not even think about it. Give it one little drip on the screen, and just start from next gen.
Yeah, there are a handful of really good, deep TOS episodes,
there are
Time, the Doomsday Machine, Let That Be Your Last Battlefield. And I don't say that just because I have a dog that looks like one of the characters from the episode.
But no, there were some good episodes. In writing, there were a lot of good episodes of TOS. However, the execution, regardless of how good the storyline was, 99.9% of the time, the execution was shit. I'd say 60 to 70% of that was all because of Shatner.
That, and I think part of it was also the network too. The network
it was very contradictory.
Yeah.
Do you notice though that when they did the Next Generation, that they were then able to do episodes that would center around the secondary characters? Sure, most of them was about Captain Picard, but you notice how many there would be an episode, something to do with Geordi, something to do with Data, and the captain took, kind of became a secondary character in that. And I think I'm sure Patrick Stewart was much easier to work with, and I think was willing to maybe take a half a day off and enjoy and let somebody else have that for.
Let them go off and do his thespian.
But no, I mean, Patrick Stewart has always been, don't get me wrong, Patrick Stewart can be a little bit arrogant and up himself sometimes, but...
Oh, he is.
But
not as much.
But he does it in a very gentlemanly way.
Mm-hmm.
And, he is like the quintessential British gentleman, and unfortunately that does come with a little bit of arrogance and being up yourself, but he was, a lot of people said he was so easy to work with, and it was a pleasure to work with. And I mean, I love him. I really do. And he got a chance to play on his thespian roots as well.
Yes. And he played a Frenchman.
Was it when Diana and Luoxana were kidnapped by the Ferengi? And then he did that big speech like it's better to have loved and lost than never to have loved, or something like that. And he was just like spouting a load of crap, that was so funny. It was so overly dramatic and overdone, but it was perfect for that scene, and it was a deliberate thing. And it was just, it was just so good.
And then he went on and did things like Beavis and Butthead.
Yeah.
An American Dad.
I can't stand Beavis and Butthead.
He actually, I believe he actually enjoyed, that was one of his best times of being an actor, was being on Beavis and Butthead.
Really?
Yeah,
I've heard he actually enjoys the character on American Dad too.
I think I wouldn't be surprised if he enjoyed him too. So that's where he's a genuine guy.
But no, he's got a really good sense of humor as well. And I always remember Ice Age 4 Continental Drift right at the end. He made a cameo. And I think as well, was it also in Collision Course that he made another appearance? I can't remember, but he actually said that he did have quite a lot, even though it was only a little cameo at the end of the movie. He said that he had a lot of fun doing it, and he is really fun, and he's got so many sides to his personality. It's just wonderful, and he brought a lot of that to his character of Picard, and in everything that he did. And that's why I think he'll always be my favorite captain, with like Janeway as second. But I mean, I do love Captain Freeman, I really do, but she does piss me off sometimes. I don't know why, but there's just so some of the things she really, she could handle a hell of a lot better. She can be very
abrasive.
Yeah. She can be very, what's the word? She freaks out far too easily. Something goes wrong, she starts proper losing her nuts sometimes, and I'm like, whoa, hold on, love. You've made it this far to become a captain. How does your head nearly explode and you freak out like this?
Captain Freeman, was that Discovery?
This situation a hell of a lot better.
No, Carol Freeman, Cerritos.
Oh, Cerritos. I'm still learning names on the show. So. Wow.
They had quite a few like commanding officers on Discovery, so it's easy to get them all mixed up.
Yeah.
But yeah, I do like her as a captain. I do, but just sometimes I'm like, oh my god, chill your fucking nut, love.
Moopsie.
Moopsie. Oh, we love Moopsie. Moopsie makes an appearance in honor of Marla, who cannot be with us tonight, but we love you, Marla, and we miss you.
Yeah, Marla's not in tonight.
Yeah, she made a comment that they had to get rid of their internet or something like that.
Oh, really?
Yeah, let me see if I can find it.
Who did she deal with?
Oh, Jeff. I agree with Janeway as a captain, but no, DS9.
DS9 is a great series, though.
Up until about season 4, and then it went downhill for me.
Oh, that was when Cisco came back as a captain and bald, right?
Well, no, he was bald. No, he came back. Yeah, the first episode of season 4.
Yeah,
but yeah, he had the goatee towards the end of season 3.
Oh, Jeff.
Cisco as commander was actually pretty lit. But I mean, he
I like your sadistic streak, Jeff. You may have just redeemed yourself for liking Cisco. But no, Cisco does my head in. He's like my second least favorite. I mean, Shatner's Kirk is like my least favorite, and Cisco is only like one above him on the scale. He does honestly, he does my nut in.
I mean, Cisco did some pretty badass stuff. I mean, he
did.
He essentially conspired to kill Avrenek to get the Romulans into the war with the Dominion. He poisoned those Maquis planets just to get Eddington to surrender.
Mm-hmm.
Where was the progression of his character? He had these minuscule badass moments, and then all of a sudden it was back to his pompous, stupid self, and it's like, evolve. The only time he had any form of evolution was when he ascended, basically, and he went to live in the wormhole with the wormhole aliens. That's the only form of character progression he had. In all honesty,
at the very end.
I don't like him.
Oh, that's right. He did go to the wormhole, didn't
he? Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It's been a minute. Since I watched the
become one with the prophets.
Finale. He was the prophet.
One with the wind.
No, Katie. You just don't like him because he went from a Nigerian prince to a gangsta. Was that's what I'm trying to figure out. Was that a different character that played Commander? And then he shows up, and was it? I still can't. To this day, I still don't know if that's the same guy.
Yeah, he definitely changed. His personality definitely changed when he lost the hair.
It did.
And I do know it's kind of like a Jonathan Frakes moment. He just shows up with the beard, and it's like, oh, okay, cool, fine, you can keep the beard. And saying he just went to work one day, head shaved, bald, and it's like, okay, let's roll with it, see what happens.
Yeah,
because that's how
with the beard too.
With the goatee, yeah.
Because
I do love the characters in DS9. I really do. Minus Cisco, but I do love the characters. I love Quark. I mean, Armin
Quark is
Shimmerman,
awesome.
he is amazing. I mean, I love him in whatever he does.
I like Quark's brother. I forget his name.
Rom.
I'm drawing
Rom.
Yeah, I
yeah.
love Rom.
Rom.
He is so sweet.
He's awesome.
He really is, and he's so intelligent as well. He's deceptively intelligent. He's, you know, and I mean, I obviously I love Miles.
Of course,
yeah. I love that Worf went into it. To be honest, that's the only reason why I carried on watching it. Is because
Jadzia is hot. I'm just gonna drop it right here. Jadzia Dax is hot.
Oh yeah, you know.
Well, that's
you
what.
know, I mean,
that's why they went
I was so pissed off when they killed Jadzia off. I could never really get on with Ezri, but I really liked her at the same time.
They didn't have enough show left to really do any serious development of the character.
But she did a hell of a lot. In one season, she did a hell of a lot. It took me a good few episodes to get used to her, but I did end up really liking her. Nicole did a really good job playing her. And you know, considering Ezri was basically dumped with the symbiont, she never wanted to be joined. You know, and so she had a lot of conflict, and you know, it was like an emergency situation why she ended up with the Daxibian. I think that was one of my main problems, is that she was a bit all over the place at first, but like really thinking about it, you know, it's something that she didn't want, but it, you know, it was a needs must kind of situation, and she was basically stuck living a life that she was kind of not forced into, but it, you know, that she didn't want. But she did a hell of a lot in that short space of time, and I did grow to really like her. But nobody can compare to Jadzia. Although, you know, Ezri was like extremely cute. I certainly wouldn't kick her out of bed.
But Julian eventually didn't, so.
Well, yeah, you know, we finally got.
He won that, Dax.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, just not Jadzia.
He just didn't win Jadzia.
Yeah, but talking about Terry Farrell, because when we originally were introduced to the Trill, they had the weird little ridge up top, and then the ridge on the bridge of the nose. But they tried that on Terry, and she says like, she's too pretty. This detracts from her beauty, so they went with spots. So like many planets, like the episode we watched tonight, say maybe the spotted Triller from the northern region.
Well, yeah, and you know, we loved her spots.
Especially
when she was in a swimsuit.
But it's kind of interesting, though, to kind of talk about that going off the episode, is when Julian made the comment when he slept with Ezri, just like, oh, now I know how far down the spots go. Didn't he ever look when he was in the operating room with Jadzia at any of those times to see how far those spots went?
Maybe he was a very respectable man.
Yeah, that's my only theory on that.
You see, that is one thing I could never understand, because he'd seen Jadzia in a swimsuit.
That too.
You know, I mean, when they went to Risa, when him and What's-Her-Face broke up, you know, he saw Jadzia in a swimsuit, and her spots went all the way down.
Oh, yeah.
But actually, speaking of which, I saw on a Star Trek group post, speaking of the spots going all the way down, somebody is that much of a Star Trek fan and a Dax fan, they actually had the spots tattooed all the way down their body on both sides.
Wow.
across, like literally,
That's-
like how the trill spots are, right down to their ankles. And I'm just like,
That's
you
called
probably have to
dedicated.
be held down to have your ribs done.
I'm gonna have to say peace out for now. I'm kind of zonked out. I'm not feeling the greatest tonight. Is it? It is off. Yeah. I got my COVID thing, and I think it's really hitting me now. They told me it would catch up with me. It makes you really tired.
Yeah, it's like the third shot I did really took the wind out of me. I haven't had any other shots for it since.
Yeah.
Now my nose is itching.
Every single COVID shot I've had, which is only through the first two, and then the booster.
What's a booster?
I felt awful after each one. I actually lost the use of my left arm for about 3 days.
Oh wow, that really is on. Yeah.
But I'm the same after my flu shot.
Yeah. It's the first night. The first night does me. It makes me tired, gives me a bit of a headache. And I was wondering why. I was like, why am I really starting to feel this? And I thought, oh yeah, I got that this morning. And now it's suddenly just starting to kind of hit me. I thought, oh, I'm not. Yeah, I got to go lie down for a bit. So.
Yeah, we're at 2 hours and 42 minutes almost.
Yeah.
It's been an episode.
Thanks, Jeff.
We've done a mission there, Admiral and Captain.
No.
Yeah, we pretty much stayed on point for the most part. We kept the talk to Trek for pretty much majority of it. So, yay!
Technically,
yeah. Zane, so yeah, this Upper Decks episode coming up tonight looks interesting, and the kids are
later. Well, maybe if I'm awake enough, I'll try it. If not tomorrow, I'll watch it tomorrow afternoon.
I know 2 weeks ago the Starbase was it Starbase 80 that leaked out a little bit early?
I believe so.
Yeah. Or was it the?
Or no, it was the one
Gods and Angles, which I thought was God and Angels. It's like it would make sense. I was like, no, it's the Gods and Angles. I had to change all the graphics because I misread it.
You're not gonna do any spoilers for the next episode, are you?
No.
Oh, thank God.
Yeah, see, that's I don't know anything that's going on with that one. So.
Ooh.
Well, before we leave, I just want to say, Philip, I am sending you lots of healing.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, see, now I'm probably going to lay down.
Yeah.
I'm probably going to lay down and try to go to bed early tonight because I'm not 100% either. Like this cough is just getting worse, and I thought I picked up some some Theraflu. I thought I got the nighttime formula, but I looked at it last night and it's the daytime formula. I was like, crap. No wonder why I don't have a problem getting up in the morning. But I've been getting up early the last couple of mornings, getting some early morning airport trips, and right now it doesn't look like there's any, so I might sleep in just a little bit tomorrow.
Make some money.
Well, I'm going to see if I can get my book finished and start a new one when we get off here, because I've got about like this much of my current book left to read, and I'm breaking my own rules because I'm actually reading one of my special editions. I don't usually read my special editions, but I haven't been able to get the paperbacks for them yet. So, yeah. And so far, I'm quite liking it.
Yeah. And speaking of books, I'm going to plug it out. If you want some township liberation, get this book, man. Yeah, Revival of Common Sense. So, and follow at Town Liberation on X, and he has some workshops on Tuesday that you can join in a space every Tuesday, 3 p.m. Eastern. Get together, and then a podcast on Thursday. So at Town Liberation. So had the plug.
I'm not going to advertise my book.
It's shout out to 2 free mics.
But yes, so we're going to call it good for this week. Until next time, Alien Frequencies closed.
Night all.